Saturday, July 26th, monthly live stream RPG that's coming up, but I'm not going to talk about it today. Actually try to get this microphone looking sweet. It always takes my collar down. It looks like this thing has just been like pulled down around my neck or whatever. Okay, we are live, folks. Thanks for joining in. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SCP tabletop RPG. You guys voted for it if you are part of the Leet squad. And for those of you who are not part of the Leet squad, we've got all kinds of stuff there. We've got the newsletter, comes out twice a month. We've got occasional giveaways. I got a giveaway that I'm going to be having here pretty soon. It's a hardcover giveaway, actually. It's not going to be a digital one. There is something that, you do this for a while and you just get a whole lot of games and you just know you're not going to play all these, right? So you might as well just give them away to somebody who may play it, who might be interested. Just some people just collect the stuff. And I do have one that is going to go bye-bye if you're part of the Leet squad. So you got these perks of being part of the Leet squad and some other perks too as well. One of my favorite perks is being over on the Element chat server. Love it. Got, I don't know, a handful of guys over there, 20-something people that are over there right now. Love them. Love my Leet squad over there on the Element chat server. I got some people in the house right here. What's up, Rat? What's up, LJ? What's up, Michael? How you doing, y'all? As you see is the beta proof. So what had happened was I had received this way ahead of time. I have the final version, which isn't much different from the beta version, so we'll just go ahead and use this for today. It's not much different from this one, and I am surprisingly very interested actually in this game. Very cool. Weeks is just has been how things have happened for me. So had my right hand man, he came over, we made some characters in the what's called the advanced way to make a character in the game. Did all this work and everything and whatever. It didn't save. It's the way things have been going here. But hey, God is still good. But it didn't save. So I have to use another character. I might have to go off screen in order to get her over here because then my computer was acting. I feel you, man. My pup right now is not feeling so well. It's got me concerned. But we're going to move on here. We're going to move on with this live stream. We're going to move on with taking a look at all of this. What's up to all of my people over in Amazon land? If you're over in Amazon land, howdy, howdy. So how we're going to do this is I wanted to, let's move over and see if I have this available. Okay, never mind. So it's there. I don't know why I didn't think it was there. Okay, so never mind on that. So that's something good to happen. Okay, that works. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of work our way through a kind of a lightweight character creation here. So you guys just get the gist of how this goes, and we're going to do the dice mechanics and all the rest of that lovely stuff. Now, if you are part of the Leet squad, again, I'm plugging the mess out of that today, right? Because I love it. And what do you think, y'all? I think that's a little off. I think that's a little off, don't you? Yeah. And why is this so... Hold up a second. Let me put myself up like that. Oh, you see this little thing? That normally doesn't work like that. I'm going to move my camera here. There we go. And then I'm going to move it over. There we go. That was weird. Normally I don't see my camera like that. I'll move myself down a little bit here. Try to get myself together. All right. So we'll just work our way through this, man. And if you're part of the Leet squad, I just right before the live stream, And you can see things. Now, I do have a character sheet in another screen here that'll pop up, and we'll kind of go through that stuff. Let me go down a little bit more. Yeah, I like it like that. So we'll do that. And it's a little dark over here, isn't it? Should I put a light over here? It'll kind of mess with my eyes, though. Or maybe not. I don't know. I think I should put a light over here. Yeah. Let me see who we got in the house. John. What's up, John? Just to get vetted to see how he compares. Well, in order, okay, so you got to be part of the Leet squad, and the interviews happen over on the Element chat server. So you got to be part of that too. So you know what to know something? This over here is bothering me. I don't know about you, but it's bothering me. This darkness over here. Let me do something real quick. Let me get up and I'm going to go grab my light. I got a light. I just don't want it to reflect in my eyes here. What does it say? The sky and not the color. Let me go ahead. Let me take a look. Let me go ahead and get this light because this little dark area over here is bothering me. So I'll be right back. And I'm serious when I talk about right back because it's like right over here. But I don't know. I'll let you see something cool in the meantime, between time. All right. Now, see if you guys like this just a little bit. See what I'm saying? Let me turn this down a little bit. I think it turned away from me too. I just wanted to illuminate that part so you guys can see everything. All right, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to go over here. Let me move this around. It's something about live streaming I really have been liking. And I'm just now trying to kind of get used to it, you know, and the things that I needed to do. Wow. Are you serious? Oh, God. Man, it bothers me to no can go. I went, so apparently going, unbelievable. You believe this, man? Unbelievable. Let me go. I have to go live on Amazon again because they're a pain in my behind. Good grief. I mean, I guess going away in... Okay, so there's a couple things before I get on here because I'm getting ready to express my displeasure. So here's the thing. Number one, it kicks you off. Like, why would it kick me off and when I said I'd be right back? But apparently, you can't actually do a live stream. And you want to know something? Seriously, all these little stupid things that they have that they don't tell you. They really don't tell you this stuff up front. I remember one time it kept kicking me off and I didn't understand why. And then I had to go and I had to talk to them about it. And they told me, oh, well, it was because there was a label on the box, but there was no address on it. And I told him, I was like, there's no address on it. It's just it's a UPS barcode. Who knows what that is? Like, yeah, but you can't have any labels. Okay, that's nowhere. That's like 0. And I was like, let me go with them. Let me do this real quick because it's not a big deal to redo it. It's just a pain in the behind that I have to redo it. You know what I mean? Go back here, do this. Oddly enough, it saved all the products because it doesn't want you to not have the products there. I mean, we'll save all of that. you gotta love this stuff, man. Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can go live here. Because it's weird. It's absolutely weird. And there's a couple things that they have that I did find on Amazon, so I'll give it that because, it's the place where everybody buys everything. But there were some things on there I didn't even know SCP had that I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. I don't know why that is doing that, so I'll come back over here. So, yeah, we're going to wait for this to actually kick in. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to continue here, y'all, with our look at SCP. Now, I already did a video on this per se, but those of you who are part of the Leet Squad, you guys can go to the RPG Elite YouTube room, download a character sheet, and kind of follow along with me, kind of like so it could be in your face if you can't see some of the stuff. And I try to make this as easy as I possibly can so you guys can see all this stuff as we go through this. But apparently this is, I'm not sure if this is, all right, well, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, because at this point, I don't care. All I care about is all my cats over here on YouTube, and Amazon is optional at this point, so they missed out. All right, I guess they could blame Amazon for that. Okay, let me look at you guys' chat over here. Just some curiosity regarding how I'd measure up in the vetting process. You guys still in that video. So if it turns on, it turns on. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But check. So the vetting process that I have put together, I did that because of my years in playing tabletop RPGs, obviously. And I talked about the incident. I have a video. I didn't plan on talking about this, but I guess I'll put it in the description if I remember. But I had a video. I talked about the incident that was the last straw for me. And I said, it's not like, because you got some people who, because the vetting process that I use is involved, and it is, it's just, a lot of people don't make it, and there's various reasons. I'm not going to give you like, there's this, that, there's various reasons. People come up, I tell you about that dude that he was like, he said he played in 17 different games. And then he had nerves to say something like, oh, well, if I can, and there might be some times where I won't be able to make it. And both me and Tom were like, that's my right hand man. Both me and Tom, we were like, so why are you here? And both of us, I cut that interview short, really short, by the way. I was like, I think it was right after he said that I was like, oh, really? Okay. Well, I think we've got everything that we need. That was pretty much it. I was like, yeah, I think we got everything that we need now. So, yeah, man, more power to you. And if we are interested, we'll let you know. And never let them know. I don't even know what the dude's name was or whatever. I just put this together. This is something I put together. And every time that I've used it, and this is not hyperbole. Every single time I've used it, it has never failed. Now, of course, it is, for some people, it's a little intimidating. The idea of, dang, dude, it's just a game. No, it's not just a game in the sense of what people are life is through a game. That's true. But it's not just that. It's just like I said in the video. It is, we are adding people to our lives, and we want to, you do this in life, y'all. What's the thing that we say nowadays? I'm not judging. Yes, you are. Like every day. The things that we say sometimes, we don't even think about. We don't think about what it is that we are saying. We judge all the time. And so people just need to stop lying. What do you think discrimination is? What I brought up in the video, right? It's judging. It's saying, yeah, these people, they're not going to make it. I don't think I want to have them be a part of our lives, And so, if you want to, if you want to come through, man, like I said, I only have so many that's going to be a part of the core, which is the people who are going to be a part of this, who I, kind of like my go-tos whenever I don't like running games all the time. I don't have the time. I won't have the time either. So in this next one that's coming up, that we have coming up, I'm not running it. Thank God. I want to take a break. I'm not running it. Another one of the members of the core, they're running it. And we're going to be running through a game, and it was a video game. And so, Rad, I know you're a part. We can get the other person. We got 2 people who are going to be in on this tryout. So we're in the tryout phase in the moment. However, as a couple of you have kind of said here, and I'm kind of looking at the chat here on the side, being a plus, more open and honest while taking some things in stride can be a little off-putting also, I'm sure. Oh yeah, like when we do our interviews, this is going in a totally different direction for this live stream, isn't it? But anyway, I'm just going from where you guys are at, all right? But when we do our interviews, we keep it loose, man. It's not, it is a game, so we kind of keep that whole thing in view, right? Like one of the people, I don't know if Rad is still here. What's going on? What's going on, Michael? But I've talked to him a couple times, and me and him have talked. He's my moderator over there. We've talked in a long time. We even had, okay, so let me tell you how some of this stuff goes, right? So we had, when I first met, and he's Trevor here, he's Rat over on I just call him Rat over on the server, and just about everything else. So a kind of like just a one-on-one, we talked, it was a video call, and I don't know how long did we talk? An hour or so? We talked over an hour, and he was like, okay, now I got it. Okay, I get what you're saying. All right. And you know what? I appreciated it because he didn't just pop off or get mad in the comments or something. He's like, let me kind of talk to him. Ever since, he's kind of been my second right-hand man. As just because we don't, when it comes to the vetting process, and he's going through the vetting process right now. So he's one of the people who is going to be part of the tryout, right? And even though, I'll give it, even though he's my second right-hand man, moderator, all the rest of this stuff, has been down with me, been totally cool. I wish he wouldn't, I don't know where he lives in Canada, but I'm close to Canada border because I'm in a state that's close to it. But doesn't necessarily mean he's going to make it. I don't know. I'm making a decision. So yeah, but most of us we're just chill, man. When we do the interview process, we're just chill. we know we've done this so much now that we're like, hey, we know what we're looking for. We know the vibe that we're looking for. See if we get a report, all the rest of that stuff. If it works, it works. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, y'all. It's not a big deal. We might do other things with y'all, right? We might do, put a 1 in the chat if you want to see me do co-op games on live streams, or put a 2 if you're like, nah, just keep it straight. Or put a yes. Put a yes if you want me to do co-op games. Put a no if you're like, nah, just keep it straight TTRPGs, you know. But I kind of wanted to do some co-op games. But, you know, just to bring that up, because even though some people may not make it through the vetting process for us, it's no hard feelings, man. I play anything or do anything else just about, you know, down with it. But our vetting process is that way because the people who we've taken through that vetting process, they've come and they've gone. Okay. Some of them have gone. We still are connected though. I had one guy, he couldn't do it because of work. He works for literally, and I know I'm messing with this mic, so let me know if you're hearing some sound. You probably hear some sound. Hold up. It's just bothering me right now. Right? Bothering the mess out of me. I don't know why. But, see, it's not supposed to do that. Not good. Okay. Anyway, have one, and he's like, he's my boy, right? So he played with us in One Ring, and he had to go because guy actually works for a billionaire up in Canada. That's all I know, man. I don't know details as far as names and stuff, but he works for him, and the guy has him doing stuff, and he put him in this brand new position and couldn't play with us. So, but I still keep in contact with him, still talk. He is running the Blade Runner, and he is going to finish that. I talked to him not too long ago. He said, I say all of that to say we still have relationships with these people even when they leave, and that's what I'm talking about. You're adding these people not to just a game. You're adding them to your life. At least that's how we look at it, because it's RPG Elite here, y'all. That's what we're talking about. You know, we keep it, hey, if you're going to be connected, let's stay connected, man. Let's form these relationships, albeit some of them are just probably going to be virtual, just like with us, but that's cool, man. Just being able to sit and talk and, you know, just connect in some way, man. I just connecting just like we're doing right now, you know, through the chat and, you know, video like this. Yeah. So let me look at your chat here real quick. House in order of sorts. All right. My gaming group is a group of people that are family, and schedules are all have gotten a little crazy. Well, when it comes to scheduling stuff like, let me give you an example. I just had somebody who left. He's here locally. I've been playing with that guy for a long time. Actually, it was Tom that brought him in, and I've been playing with him a long time. Is on his side, and even though when he left, he was like, "Yo, when you're ready, you know, just let me know, and I'll see what's going on my end." But basically, because of everything that's going on here on the channel, and me changing things up, because I don't really have a regular game anymore. So this is what happened. So having the channel and having to go through these games and building up the core and doing all of that has forced me to kind of put that on the back burner, my regular game. And I do regular gaming, but now I'm doing it more with my Leet squad in the core specifically. And so that's why I'm recruiting people who, hey, if I got a new game, you guys want to, you know, go through this with me. Hey, I'm going to be making a video. Do you guys want to do this? So because of my schedule and because of his schedule too, because of his work and stuff, it was like every other week thing, which what we were doing because of his schedule. So he, you know, and this was a month or two, a month and a half ago, something like that. But if I were to say, yo, we back in business, you know, check your schedule, he'd be right back. You know what I'm saying? So that happens. But let's talk about family for a second. Sometimes they ain't the people to play with. Hey, I'm keeping it 100. Sometimes they're just not the people to play with. Now you have to determine whether or not they're going to be the people to play with, right? But, you know, whether it be brother or mother or even father or mother or whatever, sister, whoever. But for me, if y'all remember Jim, he was there at the very beginning with me playing tabletop RPGs. 1983, y'all, I think is the year I started. 82, 83, somewhere in there. He passed, but would I play with him? And he's my brother from another mother of a different color, y'all. Would I play with him? Probably not. Yeah. It's because I know him. He's not going to fit the dynamic. He's not going to fit what I'm looking for when it comes to who I'm going to be playing with. So probably not. And I love him to the very depths of my being. But I'm an optimistic realist, right? I want the best, but I see what's in front of me. So I'm not going to ignore what's in front of me. I see what's up. Some people will make it, some people don't. If you want to try to go through the process, man, this is how you go through the process, all right? You join the Leet squad. So if you join the Leet squad already, then you're going to, and this is for those of you who want to go through this process, since we have started this video and we're nowhere near going over the SCP. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second, y'all. I promise. But if you want to go through and see if you can be a part of the core are the people who, if you've gotten the, if you're part of the Leet squad, I just sent out what was it, earlier this week? The invite is in your email. If you didn't get the email, look in your spam box and make sure you whitelist that. And in that email is a link to join, because that's the only way that you can join this chat server. It's not like Discord, we're one and that's it. And it's us. And it's just us folks over here in Leet land. Leet land. I like that. Okay, what we got here? Oh, Tom's in the house. Hey, my right-hand man, Tom's there. Tom is a Taro, y'all. So that's my boy. So he's my right-hand man. And we have gone through some things. He has been with me, oh gosh, almost 20 years. Gone through some silliness that just doesn't. But Tom, okay, you remember that incident when I told you I was like, this is the incident that did it for me? Tom was there. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I was done at that point. He was there. He heard my complaining. I was like, we ain't doing this no more. Never again. Never. No, that's SCP like supposed to be doing. Yeah, it was a crazy incident. Like I said, I did a video on that, and like I said, after the live stream, I'll come through and remind me. If I don't, but remind me, I'll put the link in the description. Yeah, man. No, never again. And because of that, never again. We've never gone through that ever again. Because the vetting process works. It just does. And yeah, I'm picky. And I'm not saying that this is a description, y'all, not a prescription. If you don't like that, and you don't like that, you think that's stringent, you think that's just going overboard. Hey, man, do your thing. I have no issues with everybody going ahead and doing your thing, and whatever is fun for you, your thing. It might not be fun for me, right? I had somebody in the comments of that video. I don't know if you saw it, but I had somebody in the comments of that video. They were like, "Well, the GM, is the problem," and you know what that was. They were talking about me. It was just kind of like this kind of passive veiled way to make a complaint about me. And they said, I run 50 to 100 people and I have little to no drama. That's what he said. I have little to you have little to no drama. I tolerate none. Zero. And there's the difference between me and you. But hey, You know, here's the thing. You're playing tabletop RPGs. I'm playing tabletop RPGs. We're all having fun. And hey, the world will still turn. Right? So this is a description. And this is not the only way to do it. But this is the RPG Elite method. And the RPG Elite method, I'm not tooting my own horn, y'all. It works. It has worked 100% of the time. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if it ain't broke, y'all, you know what I mean? If it ain't broke, so you know, we're not going to change it, right? It works. And by the way, Tom, my character got ganked. I don't know what happened. We spent all the time with me when we did our SCP characters. I don't know what happened to my character. I spent all this time on the character, and well, apparently it didn't save. You know, it's you know, it's like I said, y'all. What works, works. Some people don't like the fact that we're so we're such strong gatekeepers. They don't even like the word gatekeeper, you know. That's why I brought up the word discrimination. They didn't like the word discrimination, you know. And of course, discrimination on you know, and doing that for the wrong reasons, obviously, you know, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about the base understanding of the word. And when it comes to, somebody said it perfectly in the comments. They said, when it comes to character, 100%. Oh, and that's all this is about. When it comes to our vetting process, it's 100% about character. How do we know who you are in any other sense? We don't know anything, right? It's a virtual thing. We don't do it by video. It's audio only. So what do we know? All we know, we get a vibe though. We always get a vibe, you know? And there's been times when we just, you know, right after an interview, we're just like, nah. Tom, sometimes when he can, he's there with me during the interview. So it just works, right? If you want to implement this, implement it, y'all. I'm telling you, it works. It's a little bit of a longer process, obviously, getting everybody's schedule together and all the rest of it. But here's what I'm telling you. Once if somebody makes it all the way through, we've had a couple people make it all the way through. If somebody makes it all the way through, guess what? You pretty much have somebody for life, God willing, unless, you know, things change or whatever. But you have added a plus to your life in terms of a relationship. And so that's why our process is so stringent, because we're not just looking for just gamers. We're looking for comrades. We're looking for people we can connect with. Even beyond that, we have some great conversations after games. Like there's been some times after we have a session or something, you know, we go an hour more and we're just sitting there chilling. We just don't do that stuff during the game, right? RPG Elite Quality number 7. We get together to play the game. But afterwards, oh yeah, we sit around, we chill. And I'm just talking virtually. We'll just sit there and we'll just talk, and it's a lot of fun. So even though our sessions are supposed to run like 4 hours, they end up a lot of times being like 5 hours or whatever, just because of us talking. And all the guys that are part of the core right now, I got people, you know, Tom's obviously a part of the core. Got a guy over in Uzbekistan, young cat, really good. He's going to be running the tryout for the game Dishonored. He's cool. Got an older gentleman who's been there from, you know, he's been playing a long time, since the 70s. So but he's going through some health issues right now. So we just kind of, you know, I just been kind of checking in on him a week or so ago. Got another one, and he's in Illinois, Indiana. I forgot, one of those two. Illinois, maybe. And we got another one who is in Finland. He's in Finland. He's an American, but he's in Finland because his wife is Finnish, and I don't know how that works over there, but he's over there. And so we only got like 4 people as part of the core right now. But those of you who want to be a part of the core, link is down right here. First, join the Leet Squad if you haven't already. Second, get in on the Element chat server. because we have a separate room for the core over on the chat server. Okay. So go over there and join all the other, join whatever other rooms, because we got a million rooms over there. We got rooms for, science fiction and superhero tabletop RPGs and supernatural horror tabletop RPGs, and for the RPG Elite YouTube channel, we got a lot of rooms. You don't have to join all the rooms, right? That's the cool thing about the Element server, is that you get to pick and choose which rooms you want to be a part of, right? Except the core, right? You get invited to that, and you don't even see that unless you're part of the core. Right. So, and I got a couple rooms over there where you don't see unless you're a part of the actual group and you get invited and all the rest of that stuff. But there are plenty of rooms over there. The Leet Lounge is where everybody hangs out. If you're interested in certain tabletop RPGs, we talk about books and comics in the books and comics place, and we've got film, and we got all these different rooms, man. So make sure you join the Element server, right? And if maybe you didn't get the email, hit me to Element, because that's where we're going to do the interview. Okay. It's just easy. And then after that, then we'll go ahead and we'll set you up and we'll see. Right. We'll see, man. I think it's no matter what, I think it's a lot of fun. People who just want to be a part of it, it's great, man. And just the connection that I make with people, this has been a blessing. It's going on 5 years, man, that I've been doing this. August 12th. That's when I started taking it seriously. It was actually January 18th where I actually founded the channel, right? In 2019. It wasn't until 2021 though, where I was like, I think I'm gonna go in all on this, and I'm gonna do a little something. And so this is where we're at today. And we're almost at 16,000 subscribers. Not quite. We're a little bit. I think we're like 50 subscribers. Have them come on over here, and yeah, I really enjoy this. Okay, let me read this, and then we're gonna start this video. We're gonna start this SCP thing. Jeez. Okay, let me see. I cannot believe that the person has GM for that many people and has had no conflicts or issues. That is incredibly unlikely. Yeah, you lying. People have little to no drama. All right. I believe that. And I got a bridge to sell you in New York. That's when I saw that, I was like, ah, boy. All right, dude, whatever. Right? That's, but I just pointed out that he didn't say no drama, right? 0. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 0. I don't want any, right? Now, there did bring up a point. Sometimes the drama is the GM. Let's keep it 100, right? How many times have you gone and the GM has been kind of crazy? And you're like, what is going on? Why am I here? So we'll keep it 100. But also, let's keep it 100 again. Let's give it a good 90% of the time. Let's give it 100. Right? If you got a decent GM, willing to work with people, then, we'll give it 85% of the time has been players for me. I'm just saying. Okay, we got one more here. We got 2 more. Biggest thing to remember is that we aren't telling you not to play or that you're doing anything wrong. We just want to make sure all of us have a good time. Exactly. Listen, it's about standards. We have a high standard. RPG Elite mindset. There we go. We have a high standard. That's the whole thing about RPG Elite. I had some people, it's over on Reddit, of course, so you could expect them. They saw RPG Elite, and I knew it, and they said, well, I'm not going to play it with anybody, putting themselves off of RPG Elite. Yeah, well, there you go. You certainly won't, because you wouldn't make it in. I feel you. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But there's, I don't know how many times. So I'll say it again. It's about mindset. Our mindset is a higher standard. It's a high standard. You guys just saw a video of our vetting processes. That looked like we just, you just accept anybody, and there's people who's like, man, that just seems excessive. It's not for us. For some people, it might be excessive. Listen, the whole RPG Elite mindset. Oh, man, this is becoming a different video, isn't it? But anyway, the entire RPG Elite mindset is this. Listen, bro, if somebody wanted to invite me to their game, the first thing I'm doing is discriminating. And if I see something, I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. You guys do your thing. Right? I'm not telling you need to do what I'm doing, like so-called safety through tools and, throwing down, oh, yeah, well, I don't like this, so you guys should do it like this, and throw down another card and be like, I don't like this. Okay, what? Get out of here with that nonsense. No, we ain't going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that to y'all. If I'm seeing that it ain't going to work for me, why would I do that? I'll just be like, yo, you guys go ahead, you do your thing, man. That just makes no sense to me why you would try to force somebody to go along with whatever. No, man. That RPG Elites ain't got time for that. If it ain't working, it ain't working. Again, I've said this many times and I'll say it again. RPG Elites don't settle. Right? We're spending hours upon hours with people playing a game. I mean, we don't spend that much time. I mean, Monopoly is the only game that can go on for that long, for crying out loud, and it's actually going on longer. But, for board games, it's an hour or so or whatever. But we're talking about hours upon hours, and we're talking about story, and we're talking about interaction, and we're talking about time with somebody. And if there's somebody that is just not going to jive with me, why would I waste my time? This is just common sense, y'all. You guys, you wouldn't do this in real life, would you? And if you would do it in real life, your life is rough, probably. It's probably pretty rough. Don't do it. And just vet people in your life, and guess what? Your problems will disappear. Right? You are the one that has the power to have certain people have access to your sphere of influence in life on you. All right. So don't let, problem people, whether GM or player, at a table. Yeah, you don't need to tolerate that. Nah, just move on, man. No hard feelings. Right. Just be like, I'm looking for something else. And just go on about your business. You don't have to make it a major issue. I don't know why some people make this a major issue. It's not a major issue. just do your thing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. My fault. Sidetracking. Feeling good. He hasn't been feeling good for a while. And so I just needed I kind of needed this for a release today. So it's good. I suspect that GM is the drama, but he doesn't count it when he does it. Pot calling kettle black type of stuff, right? Yeah, I get it. I like the GM principle of you tell me what's it look like. There's certain things you will describe, which is kind of your job to describe. It's your job to describe. But there's certain things as far as, medium level role play, right? RPG Elite quality number 4, y'all. The different levels of role playing. Okay, well, medium level role play, that's on you. That's not on me. When it comes to your character and stuff like that, I'm not going to describe what. This is weird. I've seen this before. I've seen GMs describe what that character was. I'm like, well, how are you describing what it's their own character? Let them describe it. You tell me, how'd it look? Right? It's getting players into the frame of mind into medium level role play. Some people have been playing so long, they just expect the GM to do it. the GM should do it in certain situations. If a player asks, what do I see and whatever, what's here? Okay, that's the GM's job to make sure that they get enough detail and all the rest of that. So it's their job to do some medium level role play. But if we're talking about the actions of a character and what they do or how, that's on them. Why am I telling you how that looks? Right? And it takes the pressure off of the GM. GM can really just focus on the setting and the play and the NPCs and all the rest of that, and just kind of pay attention to where the story is going, to know when to interject some other cool stuff. But that's what I do. In contrast, I like other people's stories. Yeah, everybody at the table is contributing to the story. Just getting them in the mindset, because again, for so many years and for long, it's the GM. The GM describes this, the GM describes that. Okay, well, now it's time for you to do some heavy lifting here a little bit. You describe it. You. Because this is your character. What am I doing describing that? If you missed, right, I might describe how you missed, but that doesn't need to be the end of it. I can describe that and you can add to it. Like, wow, your character, because of that, okay, medium level role play, or maybe some high level role playing, who knows? So you already did the low level role playing, you missed. So, okay, now we're just in the medium and high level role playing. Man, we just went for an hour on a totally different tangent. The SCP live stream is starting right now. Good grief, y'all. I just kind of wanted to go where you guys were going, right? All right, so let's move on with this. So this is the SCP RPG 2nd edition. And for those of you who may not know, and I think my camera is a little bit, hold up a second. I think my camera is a little bit wonky here. Let's do this. Is that right? Yep, it is right. Okay, so let me move. I'm moving some stuff around. So, okay, we got this. I'm gonna move this out this way a little bit. Okay, do this. All right, there we go. All right, so let me read this paragraph here, and let's go ahead to the PDF on this. Let's read this section here. All right. Now I'm going to read it from the book, but you guys can read it with me. I'm just going to read this first paragraph, and it gives you a feel of what SCP is about. It says the world, and for me, I have to, these glasses are for looking far away, so I'm going to be lifting them up quite a bit. It says the world is far less ordinary than most people know. The world that most believe we live in, where the laws of science reign supreme and the paranormal is relegated to the realm of super. Delighted to learn of the wondrous variety of the universe contains. They may see a universe of infinite possibility as something to be celebrated. Now I'm going to move this down a bit because I think that this is relevant for us. Let's read a little bit more here, just so you get the feel here of what's going on. The SCP Foundation, however, exists to protect humanity from these hidden threats. The SCP Foundation, which, by the way, stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect, everything that creeps, enchants, bewilders, and defies the natural order poses a potential danger to humanity. They understand that the modern world, built on the principles of science and reason, is vulnerable to the unknown, containing and studying these anomalies. So that is what we have. That is what SCP is about. You are going to be an agent in the SCP Foundation. And and we'll take a look at a couple of them. There are other organizations as well as SCP. SCP is the largest one. It's got the most money behind it and all the rest of that. But that's the gist of these anomalies. And if you need to, you secure, contain, and protect. And it's assumed that you're going to be working for the SCP as an agent, though that's not necessarily the case. It doesn't have to be like that. The one that I was going to kind of go through when we did it was, it wasn't going to be SCP. It's going to be another organization, and I'll show it to you later. But let's go ahead and now let's take, this is the character sheet here. So we'll kind of go through this, right? So here you have, up here you have your physical, you have 4, and up here you have your mental. Or down here you have your mental. What level of that you're going to start at? That's down here in the corner. So it's called a disruption class of all of them. Up the top here is like you starting off at pretty much a high level. What they suggest you start off at is Vlam. But when I created her, I think I created her as a dark just because I was just trying to figure out things. So take a look at, let's go back up here a little bit. There we go. And I created her using the advanced method. There's 2 different methods that you can use to create a character. Actually, there's 3 methods. So let's go over those 3 methods. Let's switch it over here so you guys can see. Okay. And my camera's off. All right, there we go. So there are 3 different methods that you can use here. You have one that's pre-made. You can just choose one of those just to kind of, you know, get in right away. You know, that's what pre-gens are for. So you can just get into playing right away, figure it out, and then you can go and create your own characters. You guys decide you want to, you know, do a little bit of a campaign. The other way is called fast, right? Fast character creation is great for new players and is performed in 4 quick steps. And these are the spin attribute tokens, and you calculate substats. Now, that's the fast way to do it. When me and Tom created our characters, we did the advanced way because we've been doing this for so long and we just skipped all the fast way. We just wanted to know, how do you do this? And well, it took a minute. It took a minute to figure it out. And, you know, Tom had left and we were still talking back and forth to one another about our characters because it just took a minute. And do you know that it finally came through for Amazon just now? I have to laugh. I'm going to go live over here. Okay, anyway. Let me give him an intro. All right, well, we're live over on Amazon once again. And which is good because we just started actually. You guys had, there's an hour of content that you guys over on Amazon will not see. The advanced method, and it is advanced, and it does take a second. And so I'll take you, so I'm not going to take you through a detailed character creation. We're going to take just kind of a look at how it's done. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take you through the advanced character creation. We're going to do some touch points and things like that on what you can expect with that. If you're just starting off, and again, if you just want to just get straight into playing, pick a pre-made and go from there. But if you do want to create a character, but you don't want to spend a lot of time creating your character because you don't know if you're going to like the game or not, then do the fast one. Or maybe you just want to do it because you're going to take a character through it solo. Then you can go ahead and do an advance, but it is going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute because this flow chart right here that they have over here isn't exactly the best way to do it in my eyes, from my estimation. We went through it and it wasn't just how they did it and how they put it together. It wasn't, there's a better way to kind of like flow. So let's go through the first part of this, which is the character info, right? So your character info is kind of like, now you need to, it says character info, but some of this stuff you can't do until you choose like your age. Like choosing your age and choosing your disruption class pretty much has to be first. You know, now there's some character info that you can go to, and let's go to get that from your age. And this is what I'm talking about, you know. You choose your age and it says fill in your numbers and choose your age. It should be the other way around. Choose your age and fill in your numbers. Okay, because choosing your age will give you some things. So if you go over here to, that's the wrong one there. Okay, so over here you choose your age. You have certain starting attribute tokens that you will get. And then you have a base HP, you have a base speed, and you have history points. For if you're a young adult, you're going to get more physical and more mental. If you're an adult, you're going to get a balance of physical and mental, right? But you get more physical than mental as a young adult. And then if you're young, you get a lot in the physical and just not a whole lot in the mental. So I think I chose an adult. I think this right here, I know it's getting blurry there. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. So if we're going over to the character sheet again, right? So what is she? She is age 25. So she's young adult. All right? Because young adult is age 21 to 29 is what it says here. All right. So she is a young adult. All right. So if we go over and switch it over to her and went black, that's because I cannot minimize that. It's just a weird way that this works. And this is the last time I'm going to be using Prism anyway, because I'm going to be moving over to another live stream piece of software. But anyway, okay, so she's 25. And this over here, this information over on the right-hand side here, this is where, and I don't know if you can see it because I might be blocking it. Nope, I'm right above it. Oh, I'm good. All right. So right below my head here, right below me here, this is kind of like this information you can, fill in, character name. You can't fill in a title yet because you actually have to choose that, but you can fill in the age and you can just kind of mark down your base HP. Like her base HP is 8 as a young adult. You can do your base speed, you can do your hand-to-hand, you can do all of that stuff once you choose your age. All right. And then you have these other points that you kind of have to bank and put to the side. All right. So and then next you're going to choose the disruption class. And these are the disruption classes over here. And there are 5 of them. Dark, Vlam, I think that's Kinnick or Kinnick, Ekhai, and Amida. Okay. And basically it goes from lowest to highest. So if you're going to start off as you're just green, baby, just coming into this. Okay. You have certain starting actual character creation. It just will have to do when you get experience. But these over here, this does have to do with character creation. You have your hand-to-hand, your base HP is going to get a +2, your talent points, and any other power points that you would receive. That's the bad thing about being at the very bottom. You get no power points. And power points are the bee's knees when it comes to choosing your tokens. But we'll get to that in a second. Like I said, they normally say, go ahead and start off as a Vlam. And I agree. Start off as a Vlam, right? You get some physical and mental here. You get 2 physical, 2 mental, and 2 any. Like let's go back to Gwen here. Just to take a look at her. So with her, since she was a dark, I only got 1 physical, 1 mental to add to her young adult, which was, the 6 physical and 2 mental, right? So I didn't get that much to add. So I put a lot, as you could see, in her perception. Because our base speed is, and let me look at you guys, see if you say anything. I guess Amazon knew you weren't going to discuss. Yeah, we had, I guess they just knew it was like, man, he's not going to, let's wait for him to get done. And what was weird though, is like it became active like shortly after we started SCP. You want to talk about Providence, man. Is that Yako? Is that what that is? Yako, welcome aboard, my man. Okay, again, we're just going through kind of like character creation with just a kind of like a cliff note of character creation, just so you guys can kind of see it. But right here, you guys can see here, you got with her, like I said, I think I started her off at dark. And if I started her off at dark, then she didn't get a whole lot to add to her attributes. She only got 1 physical, 1 mental, and 1 that she could add. She had 6 physical and 2 mental, right? And apparently that's how and this is how you kind of break that up. Okay, you automatically start with 2. So these 2 here at the bottom, they are automatically filled in for you. Okay, so you're going to have a 2 in something. And let me show you how all of this works. So right here you have 4 dice. And thanks to Tom, because I thought it was something else, but actually Tom corrected me on this when we were doing this. I was like, okay. And that's why we go through these things. So you start off with a base die of a 6-sided die, and 2 of them are already filled in, right? You can add, and obviously she added 1 of her physical to her perception. She added like most of them because she had 6 for physical. Then she added 1 more for dark, I think. So she had a total of 7 that she could add to her physical. All right. And I think I added most of them up top here, but so 5, right? Now what she did here was upgrade her first 2 die up to 10-sided die. What you're doing here is you are creating your dice pool, and your dice pool will only ever be 4 dice. And that is why it goes across here. However, depending on what you are rolling, what dice you roll for your dice pool depends on what you did. For her, she's going to roll 2 10-sided die. She's doing like an awareness. If you look over here, your skill is what gets added to that. Let's go ahead and just so you guys can see what's up here, I'm going to switch this over to the overhead cam here, and I'm going to pick that, right? So she had 2 10s, right? So I'm going to pick 2 10-sided die, and she had a 6-sider, right? So let's do a 6. All right. And I'm going to put it right here. So there is and I'm going to go back here so you guys can see this. But of course, just like any tabletop RPG, you have your difficulty table here, right? And this here is, a difficulty of 7 or less is very easy. 8 to 10 is easy. 11 to 14 is average, right? And so it has this, difficulty table. And so let's just go with average right now. She's making an 11 for whatever, her perception, right? So I'm rolling. Let's go back to this PDF here. So for her perception, she's going to roll 2 10-sider and a 6-sided die. All right. So let's see what she gets. And we're going to do average. And we're going to do the low end of average, right? So we're going to say the target number is going to be 11. See what happens. I should use my other dice, my glowy dice. But let's go old school with the old school dice here. Let me move this over here since my big fat head's in the way. All right, so when this happens, what you're going to do is you're going to take the highest 2. The highest 2. And she swung and missed on that one. And that's just a base perception check. However, if it was an awareness thing, if we're going back to her character sheet here, if it was an awareness thing, this is her skill, and it's tied to her perception. Notice, oh man, I messed up her dice. Oh man. Well, let's re-roll that because I messed up. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to change it because I was going to do it as an example. Okay, so we're going to do that perception again. 11 is the base number. Okay, she really didn't make it this time. Oh, close though. So you got an 8, a 2, and a 1, right? You're only going to choose your highest 2, no matter how many dice you got in the die pool. Only the highest 2, okay? I've got 10. I missed. swing and a miss again. However, let's say I was doing something for awareness. Okay? So if we go over to her awareness over here, you'll see she has a 3 in that. What does that mean? That means you're going to add that to the result of whatever your highest 2 die that you rolled is. So in this case, I would add 3 to the 10, which means I got a 13, which actually means now I made it. But that's only if it was an awareness. Maybe it was a base perception. If it would have been just a base perception or something like that, skills in SCP, you're going to add it to the result. But you're always going to have no more than 4 dice for your dice pool. So when you're creating your character, if you go all the way over to the side here, you know, you can have as many, you can have the max dice, but you're probably going to have it at the lowest, which would be a 6, right? You can upgrade your dice, but again, it's going to cost those tokens in order to do it, a physical or a mental token in order to do that. Now, again, she spent all of hers in perception because it was, most of hers because it was a scout. Did do some upgrading on her health and dexterity, did nothing to the strength, right? So if we count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I think I got 8. Now, I got 8 probably from I got 7 total if I started her out at dark, but I probably got 8 from another ability or skill or something like that. But that's how you do that, right? No more than 4 dice for your die pool or dice pool, and upgrading your dice is going to take up one of those tokens that you get for your age or for your disruption class. I know I'm going kind of fast here, but if we move further down here, let's move further down and look at her mental stats. Not so great, they ain't so great, but again, she didn't get all that many either because she's a young adult and they don't get as many as an adult does. So it looks like here she got what, 3? Yeah, that's kind of right. She got like 3 here. So she has to make anything that's tied to that. It's not going to be so good. I'm just saying, it's not going to be so good. What I'm going to do is an 8-sider and a 6. Junior say, ow. You know what I'm saying? And again, I think that she is the lowest level. So it's, you know, it's going to be hard for her to do anything. And when you're at low level, it is. That's just the way that it goes, right? All right. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Put that back up there. All right. So now you can get an idea, right? Just an idea, things, right? Get your dice pool. You know, if you got 4 die, you're going to choose the highest 2. All right. There are a couple caveats, though. Dice explode in this game. Okay, that's kind of cool. So let's say, for example, I rolled that and I rolled a 10 on one of them. That would explode. And so I would get to roll another die and it would be a 12-sided die, which is the highest you can go. You can't go any higher than a 12-sided die. That's why they have that, as you can see here. That's all on a die. It explodes. And then you get to roll the next die and to see. And if you roll that high, it'll explode. So just depends. So that's kind of a cool thing. And I think this is the first game that I've ever encountered that actually had exploding dice. I think. But that is the basic mechanic, right? Now I think if you roll the lowest, I think if you roll low too, though, that's a bad thing. Or did they get rid of that? I think they got rid of that because people had said something about it during the beta, so I think they got rid of that. But it does explode on the highest result of a die. So that'll give you a little bit of an advantage, you know, especially if you're gonna, you know, if you want to start off low level, you can start off low level. But again, I really suggest you start off here at Vlam. That gives you a little bit of leeway here. All right, so you've got all these things over here that you'll put into your character sheet. You've got these extra tokens, right, that you'll be able to put into your physical and your mental. You got a couple any's that you can put it anywhere, just depending. The next thing that they tell you to do is choose your aspects. Don't do it. I actually wouldn't do that yet. I actually choose your archetype. So they call it character class. Let's take a look at some of these here. One is an anomaly expert, right? So you know a little bit about all the anomalies and things like that. And it will give you skills, certain skills and things like that, right? But choose this first. That's just me though, because it just made it simpler for me when I was doing the advanced. D class. Okay, D class is kind of like they're low on the totem pole in the SCP Foundation, right? They wear orange jumpsuits. Let me see. It says SCP Foundation is nearly endless resource of D-class personnel. These individuals, typically drawn from the ranks of criminals or other unfortunate souls, are the expendable pawns in the foundation. You know, once you read about it, yeah, they're not actually a good. They're not totally good guys, right? You know, there's kind of like a ends justify the means kind of thing, right? But you can choose to be D class. If you want to choose to be D class and you get some things, you can choose to be the heavy, as you can see, in some heavy armor and all the rest of that with some heavy gear. Choose to be a medic. I think that's self-explanatory. A modern ninja. Kind of cool, right? The scientist. The scout. So this is Gwen. This is what she chose. And here you'll get some things to add to your skills. But I would choose this. And I would fill in all this stuff too on your character sheet. All this stuff I would just transfer, fill it in on your character sheet. Don't do anything with your primary benefits, obviously, but this stuff, fill that stuff in. You got the soldier. Spent all that time on the character. I could probably redo him, but man, feel not really good. So that's it. So those are all of the classes that you can choose from. Now I think they have some expanded classes over on Drive-Thru RPG if you want to choose some more classes or something like that. I do think they have that. But you know, if you're first starting off, just choose from one of those and the rest of that stuff, right? All right, so now this is where it's going to take the longest amount of time for you if you're doing the advanced method, right? It's choosing aspects. There is a way to do this, right? So let's go back here. Your age and for your disruption class, all right? So for your age, she's a young adult. She gets these 20 history points, okay? These are points that you're going to use and spend on aspects, which is what we just got done looking at. We'll flip there in a second. Your disruption class is going to give you some more. You're going to get, with her, I think, again, if she's dark, you're going to get 10 talent points. Dark, you get 0 power points. Now, talent points, power points, history points, they all go to spend on aspects. Now, each one of these, as you can see here, it has, at the top, it says power. On the side here, it says talent. And on the side here, it says history. So it depends on what you want to spend on this particular aspect. What points? Now, the area in the white here, that's what they suggest that you spend on this particular aspect, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be the best thing for you, depending on how many points and what you're doing and how you're creating your character. But that's what they suggest. For these right here, as you can see, most of them are, history points, right? Most of them are history points here. But when I was making my character, instead of spending history points on it, right? And aspects, just so you know what they are, aspects are your skills and things like that. So basically, they are they're actually a bank of skills. Let me give you an example. Let's say you wanted to do a social worker, right? So it's down here, it says social worker, all right? So with social psychology and teaching, those are all skills. If we go back to the character sheet here, down here on the side, here in the middle, right? So all the way here in the middle, these are all skills. So here's some crucial skills here, and then you have skills here, right? Here's investigate, here's intuition, here is persuade. So this is where your skills are here. And down here at the bottom, some of them will have you write them in. They're called write-in skills. And it depends on the aspect. So you have to read the description of the aspect. She was going to be a social worker. She would get 1 in all of those, right? So you get 1 in, if we're looking here, and I lost my cursor. Okay, here it is. So we'll get 1 in intuition, 1 in investigate, 1 in persuade here, and it says 1 in teaching, which is down here. So you put 1 in each one of those. All right. So it also gives you some actual other details about this particular aspect. So it says any language gets +3. That's a write-in skill, right? You'd have to write in the language that you have this +3 to. If both costs are spent to purchase this aspect, increase all above skill multipliers by 1. Now, when it says both cost, you can only spend for this particular one history and talent points. You can't spend any power points. It's blank. All right. But you could spend on it twice, right? And each time you spend on it, you get +1. And if you do spend it twice, then you will get another +1 to all of those skills, right? And again, remember, skills get added to whatever your result is for the token or aspect or attribute that's tied to that skill. If we go back again to the character sheet here, you'll see that every skill has a attribute it's tied to. Right here, disguise is tied to charisma. Intuition is tied to intelligence. Investigate is tied to intelligence, right? So when you make a roll, that is the attribute that you're going to roll. And then you're going to add him, or in this game, they're called the director. The director is going to go ahead. They're going to give you a target number. You're going to roll however many dice that you have in your dice pool, and you're going to add your skill to it. That's the basic mechanic for the whole game there, right? But the aspects for the advanced, that's what's going to take the longest amount of time for you, no cap. That's going to take a minute. That's what took the longest amount of time for both me and Tom, because there's a little bit of a strategy in choosing if you start as a Vlam or higher. There are also disadvantages. And that's the first thing that I highly suggest that you choose first, because disadvantages actually gives you points, right? So before you even choose any aspects, and they don't say that, but you should actually choose disadvantages before you choose your advantages, because it's going to give you more points to spend on the other aspects. So these disadvantages over here, like being a D class, yep, that's a disadvantage. So it's going to give you a set amount of points. That one, because it looked pretty cool. But Dark Passenger, number one, you cannot be purchased by Dark Disruption class characters, and you gain a +3 to your power points and +12 to your history points. So these go on for a little bit here. So you got a couple of them. I'll give you an example. When I was doing my other character that got, I don't know what happened. I did all that work, and apparently I didn't save the character or something or whatever. But, and trust me, I chose, let me see here. So they got Outlaw. I chose Outlaw. I chose Hunted. I don't remember the other one that I chose. Infiltrator. That's what it was. I chose infiltrator, that's a sketchy one right there. That can instantly take you down to D class if you get discovered, by the way. Kind of fit with his story, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to choose that. And it gives you +1 power points, +6 talent points, and +6 history points. So I highly suggest that if you are going to be creating your characters, once you get to choosing your aspects, spending your points, go over to the disadvantages and look at those. And if you want to choose any of those, you don't have to choose the disadvantages, but if you want some extra points to spend, then you can choose up to 3 disadvantages. And I did choose the maximum. I chose 3 just because it fit his character. And then go ahead and spend it. Now over here, you can tell here, right? You got some suggest that you spend talent points on it. Again, that's a suggestion. And most of the time they're on the money when it comes to that. You'll notice here, you'll hardly find any of these for power until you get to anomalous aspects. Okay. Once you get to power game, and for those of you who like to power game, they give you that as well, all right? Now, if you are playing in a campaign to where the characters are going to have anomalous aspects, that's going to be 9 right there. Nope, there's a 7 right here. But you have to have, there's a 6 right here. Okay, so you have to have at least 6. Well, there's 1 to 3. Healing is 3. Okay, that's the lowest. So you could start off as a Vlam, but the only thing you're going to be able to afford out the gate, because they only start off with 5 power points, is healing. If you actually are going to have characters to have anomalous aspects, and anomalous aspects are just powers, right? But one right here, I guess you can start off with psychic. All right, so you can start off with psychic, you can start with healing. I'm just going with if you start off as a Vlam. Fast. Okay, well, fast is actually the lowest one. You can start off as a 1 there, right? So you could, so if you're starting off as a Vlam and you're like, okay, you could go ahead and have some anomalous aspects. It's just not going to be some of the more powerful ones unless you convert some of your history points and talent points to power points. Let's go. It tells you what the ratio is to convert one type of point into another type of point. So 3 history points is going to give you 1 talent point. 3 talent points is going to give you 1 history point. 1 power point is 3 talent points, and 1 power point equals 3 history points. So if you want to take some of your power points and history points and convert them to, or take some of your history points and talent points, you can convert them to 1 per 3. You don't get that many to begin with, but it just depends on, what kind of campaign you're going to be running, all right? If you're not going to be running with any anomalous aspects, then just forget about that, right? You still will probably have to do some converting when it comes to, and this is only for advanced character creation, because again, it's going to take a minute for you to make a character. But all of these aspects, you can bank some of those points if you want to after you get done with that. This is your primary benefit, and it's just going to give you a whole bunch of skills, right? So for the scout, animal kin, it's going to give you navigate, and you're going to get, it says the following skills get +2. So I'm going to go over here and see if I actually did that with her, because again, I forgot. I don't know if I actually did that with her. But according to her class, she gets +2 in animal kin. So let's go and let's see if I did that. Okay, I must have. Okay, +2 in animal kin, +2 to navigate. Okay, I must have. So I've chosen the aspects for her. So I have to still choose aspects for Gwen here, because this is all I did for her. But she gets 2 in intuition, and I think I did that too. Yep, 2 in intuition, 2 in poise, 2 in resilience, and gets 3 in awareness and 3 in stealth. So there's stealth, and that's why she's got that 3 in awareness, and 2 in melee too. Okay, so that's what I did. So I just did choose. I didn't choose her aspects. She has none, actually. So I have to finish her. I'm not going to finish her right now, but I have to finish her. by choosing all of our aspects. And that takes time. And I do like the advanced because I do like my options. I like having options, y'all. You saying you can't convert 2 PowerPoints? Hold up a second. Let me go back. Tom might be right on this, y'all. 2 if I was a GM, right? I would allow you. But technically, no, you're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be 1 power to 3 talent, 1 power to 3 history. But I, being the gracious kind of director that I am, I would probably let you do it. But that's just me, though. Okay. But technically, no, you're not supposed to do that. So scratch that, by the way. Okay. But you also fill in 1 additional die icon at 8 up here instead of the 7 that I got from the age and I got from the disruption class. Their class is also going to give you an extra one for her in perception. And that's why she's got 5 in perception and there's 3 in all the other ones here. Worked out well. But again, she's not done. She needs, I need to, and I'm actually going to do her, right? I'm actually going to finish her, even though I really wanted to do the spy one, but I'll do her. I'm going to finish her, right? Now, after you do all of that, all of this stuff right here, normally you would wait until the end to fill it out. But like I said, you could just fill out this stuff before you get to all the aspects. I would just save the aspects for last because you'll be doing conversion and all the rest of this stuff. If you're doing the advanced, and that will be it. That'll be the end of your character at that point, right? And then you could save those points. You can bank those points. And if we go over to our character sheet here, right, you're going to be doing some other things too. You're going to be figuring out the speed and stuff because once you get all of that filled out, then you'll be able to fill out your speed and your combat and your projectile. All that stuff will be easy to figure out once you get all that filled in. And then, like I said, your class is going to go ahead and give you all of their equipment and stuff like this. Just go ahead and you just fill this in at the bottom here. Down here, it's depending on what you choose, right? It just gives you, okay, this is what you're going to get if you choose that. And down here is your uniform. I suggest you probably go with the fast character creation. Unless, of course, you're like me and Tom and you've been doing this for a minute. Then go ahead and do advanced. But it is going to take a minute, right? Especially when it comes to you switching around your points and, then you're going to convert some points so you can spend some, spend on this aspect over here and spend it on this aspect over here. It's going to take you a while. It's a little bit of a strategy in doing it to get that character that you want, but you can do it for your die pool. And then you're going to roll those die and pick the highest 2. If you roll the highest result on any one of those dice, it's going to explode. Exploding! And then you take it up to the highest, you take it up to the next highest die. A 6 goes to an 8, at 8, 10, 10 to 12. 12 is the highest that you can explode up to. And that's it, y'all. And even it's going to be pretty hard, actually, because, like I said, if we're going back here, if we're looking at the difficulty table again, so with her, in her perception, she's got like halfway decent perception, right? Not bad. But, if I'm over here and I'm like, okay, I have to make a perception, and look, we're going to add awareness to it once again. But if the director is telling me I need a 13, that's average, right? If I need a 13, I'm probably not making it. Okay, well, I made it that time. I got a 9 and a 5, right? Plus the 3, right? So, okay, I made it that time. All right. But, average is, and she's at I'm pretty sure she's at the lowest level. She's at a dark. If she was a Vlam, it'd probably be a little easier. You could fill in, all 4 die on some. Now, there's one thing that I did not tell you when you're creating your character. And so let's switch it back over here so we can look at this. The one thing that I didn't tell you in terms of expenditure and upgrading your die during character creation is these little dots right here. You see this little dot right here? Hopefully you can see my hand. That means it is going to cost you extra to upgrade that die. Anywhere on your sheet where you see this little circle, it's going to cost you an extra 1 to upgrade the die. So for this, it's just going to be 1 and 1 for the token. But to take it to 12, it's going to cost you 2 tokens. You're going to have to fill this in and to fill that in. So filling in these first in the left-hand side all the way over here for 3 die, right? They make it kind of hard for you to go up on dexterity there. For perception, it's meh, right? Wow, look at fate. Wow. Like for fate, it's going to cost you to get, you could go across, right? But if you put it in 4 die, it's going to cost you quite a bit to upgrade to your fate. And that's when you get your experience and all the rest of that stuff. It's easy, right? But it ain't easy to do stuff, like as far as target numbers and stuff. Unless, of course, you've got some high skills. Now, there was one thing, though. Like sometimes if your skill is, like let's say your base skill, right? So right here she has a 7, right? She has a 7 perception, right? So she automatically has 7, and she has a 3 in awareness. So she automatically has a 10, right? So if I get you're going to need a target number of 8. Okay, well then she doesn't need to roll. She automatically, just from her perception, because if you look right here, she has a 7 on her perception, and then she's got a 10 on her awareness. And if the director is asking for 8 or a 9 or something like that, or even a 10 for the target number, it's automatic. She doesn't need to roll anything. And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you'll have some skills that'll take it up and the skill together without rolling out dice. If it's the target number or higher, you don't need to roll a dice. You just did it. So we don't have to, and that just eliminates all these extraneous die rolls that people like to do a lot of times. And when we don't need that, because it's about the story, and that's what we really want to get into. So that's another thing to keep in mind as far as the mechanic. So you don't have to roll all of the time if you have a high enough skill and attribute add together, right, for the target number. Now, I mean, nobody's going to have anything like, like 22. 22, I think, is the difficult. Like you got very difficult is 18 to 22, right? Ain't nobody going to have that, unless, of course, you're starting off at one of the high level disruption classes, which would be like, I think that's Ekai. Yeah, Ekai. Maybe it's Ekhi. Who knows? Or Amida, right? If you're starting up here, you might be able to go. So just start off as a Vlam, make your character, do advanced or do fast if you just want to get into it, or if you're really fast, like I said, okay, pick a pre-gen and go on about your business. But just knowing the basic die mechanic and how things work is easy. Take your dice pool, take your, look at your attribute, take that many die in your die pool, add your skill, and then hit the target number. Or try to hit the target number. If you hit it, you succeed. If you get the highest number on a die, it explodes. Goes up to the next one, roll again. Maybe you might get yourself. So you might not make it with the roll, right? So let's say let's say just for Gwen's sake, so she rolled here. Let's say she didn't roll this, right? So let's say you rolled a 6, and let's say the number was, 13? Okay, so she rolled a 6 and a a 10, and a 2. All right. Well, didn't make it, right? It's a 10, right? But she rolled a 6. So now I would go ahead and grab an 8-sided die because this die explodes. I roll another one. And well, that didn't help. Hey, them's the breaks. But that is how that would work, you know. But you can explode it and then, you know, you hope that you roll better on the higher die because you have a higher chance of getting a higher number. But that's pretty simple on how that works. Now, this came from, and this is where we're going to get into, and let me go over here, put this down so you guys can see it. This here is the website. And this is where you can go and all the anomalies and things like that are in the game, you can probably find them here at the website. This is SCP Foundation Wiki. Do that over here. Oops. And if you come, like, you know, it's got your guide for newcomers over here. If you want to join the site, if you want to contribute. But let's look at, let's see here. If I'm seeing this correctly over here. It's got a feature about, oh man, it will not allow me to scroll. I don't know why it's not allowing me to scroll here. What's this? Well, let's click on this and see what happens. Okay, we got the Foundation Universe Hub here. Content archives. Yikes. Audio adaptations. Readouts of various. Let's check that out. See what happens. Wow. Good grief. Wow. Huh. Now this is interesting here, huh? Well, what's the Universe Hub? Let's go back to the Universe Hub. Terminal session ID. Okay, so you're doing that stuff. And again, if you're playing this game, this is the place where you can come just get ideas. You can, obviously you're gonna have to do a little, if you're gonna have a campaign or whatever, you're still gonna have to do some work as a GM behind the scenes, but you don't have to come up with things from scratch because people have added all kinds of things to this Wikidot, and you could just come here and just scroll here, which is weird. Even though it's allowing me to interact with it, but it's not allowing me to scroll. And that's just weird. But this is the place where you can come and, you know, get ideas for anomalous things, right? This is what's cool about this game, because even if you come up with a different anomaly, and if you want to join the wiki, then go over there and add it. But it's probably been added, or something similar has already been added, and you can just go there and kind of look through the website and see what kind of things that you can find, and you can kind of get lost in this. You can get lost in this wiki. I just still do not understand why this thing is not. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Well, this might have something to do with it. You got something weird going on here. Well, obviously, my stuff is, I don't know, something won't allow me to scroll here, and it's doing some weird stuff. Okay. Was that the universe hub? Okay. Well, I got a place where you can contribute right there. Yeah, it's got some weird. I'm using a different kind of stream thing. It's called Prism, and so it's not OBS. And this is the last time I'm using it because they're getting ready to go. You can't multi-stream anymore on this one. Not that, who cares? Because, you know, it's going to get to the point to where I might have to do a separate stream on for Amazon. But you guys can go over there. You guys can check that out. But I did want to, real quick, I wanted to go ahead. I want you guys to take a look at the different organizations. And if you don't plan on running it, don't come back here. Let me see something here. Yeah, you could probably come back here even if you are a player. But let me go ahead. I got to try to, right? SCP Foundation is the main one, obviously. But they do have others, all right? So let me tell you about a couple of them. The Chaos Insurgency, okay? And, you know, I even think that the SCP Foundation is suspect. I mean, if you read about them and what they do, you know, D-class, folks. Hello. But you have the Chaos Insurgency. So let's read this. It says, the Chaos Insurgency are among the most prominent antagonists in the SCP setting. They are often... So these guys are the bad guys, right? So if you want a bad guy in your campaign, then Chaos Insurgency, just choose them. I have another one here called the Church of the Broken God is as complicated as it is fanatical, with a wide range of goals from promoting technological development, opposing other religions, to resurrecting Mechane to bring forth a new age. Any of these goals should be the focus of a campaign. Now listen, you could choose any one of these organizations to run in. I don't know why you want to run around being a whole bunch of bad guys, but if that's your deal, you can have a different perspective, right? You know, because like I said, SCP Foundation is kind of iffy there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not bad guys, but they do some shady stuff. I'm just saying. Let me see, what do you got over here? Great to see servants suggesting players shouldn't spoil the settings for the players. I can't tell you how much players of a certain game bother me by reading GM secrets. Yeah, you know, I mean, don't you want to be surprised? Right? I mean, why would you want to, like, spoil that all for you? Don't you want to get more into your character and create more about your character and stuff like that, right? And you find out more about some of these groups of interest. And like this, you know, this is something I would give players, especially if they're part of the group. So they need to know the information. Now, the Church of the Second High Toth is what I was thinking that we were going to be part of, right? So give you a little bit of a, let me read this first paragraph here. It says, in a setting drenched in moral ambiguity and cosmic horror, the Church fight to protect others and stand by their moral convictions, remaining stalwart in the face of threats which drive other factions to despair and malevolent pragmatism. You can start off in that organization. The Serpent's Hand actually is not a bad organization to start off in just because of how interesting they are. You got that, you got Gamers Against Weed, you got Global Occult Coalition, you've got the Horizon Initiative, the oh, that doesn't sound cool. The Unusual Incidents Unit. That sounds cool. The Wandsmen, and then you have an independent campaign. You can make up your own organization. Obviously, that's going to take some, you know, it's going to take some imagination energy there. But if you got the time to do that, go ahead. You can even have a civilian campaign, right? You belong to no Foundation. You guys go on all these things and you discover these things about, and maybe you run into SCP agents, and then, or maybe you run into the Chaos Insurgency and all the rest of this, and you're running in all these different places, but it's just you guys over here, right? Maybe it's just you guys over here doing that. That's kind of an interesting one to do too. So you don't have to be a part of the SCP Foundation is what I'm saying. You can be, you can make up your own thing, or choose one of these other groups of interest. And I think there's other groups of interest that they have put out as separate addendums and or expansions and things like that. So you can check me on that. What we got over here? The SCP Foundation falls squarely under the heading of what TV Tropes calls well-intentioned extremists. Yeah, this is true. As I'm saying, if you read up on the SCP Foundation, it's kind of like, you gonna turn your head sideways a little bit, be like, what? What's going on, right? I mean, if your goals require a contingency plan that reboots the human species in the event of a complete extinction, what you're doing is really out there. Exactly. But I think this is an interesting, and I think it's a fun game. I think it's potentially a really fun game, y'all. What I found is, because I only had found before, I only had found the game in second edition, right? But I actually found some more stuff over on Amazon. They have these cards that you can get, right? So you can go over there. You might even be able to find it someplace else, but I found these on Amazon. But the one that interested me the most, folks, and this is something that I've just been getting into a lot more on the channel and everything. The one that interested me the most, they have a solo system for the SCP Foundation. I did not know that. And they're selling it over on Amazon. And it's kind of hit or miss over there. But maybe in other places. But there is an actual solo system to playing this. That's it. I'm telling you. I've really been getting into solo play. And to get into solo play for something like this would be wild. But I really think this one right here, you should probably run, with one other person. You can run it GM-less, yes. But, run it with, a duo or three of you guys. That would be cool. You can find a solo system over there, $10 right now. I did not know that. So obviously, you know me, because I do these videos and things like that. And why should I pay? I mean, I'll just ask for it. Be like, yo, can you send me that my way? And then, if it's cool enough, I'll do another video on it in the future. But from looking at this game, I like the game. I like the concept. You know what the concept is, right? So if you're going to, this is more like maybe you just joined or something. You want to know the vibe of this? Let me show you the vibe of this. The vibe of this is something like, the X-Files, right? I got seasons 1, 2, and 3 right here. And if you want to get some inspiration, it's something like the X-Files, right? Now, obviously, you can go in a duo like the X-Files, right? Or Fringe. Okay. Oh my gosh, I could talk about this television show. Not gonna lie. I love this television show. It's something like, I say like, not exactly like, I say it's like Fringe, X-Files. Shoot, I would even say it's kind of like, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the television show, but have you ever seen the television show? It's called Sanctuary. It's kind of like that also, right? But you could run something. Shoot, you can rip it right from the television show if that's what you really want to do and just run a Fringe campaign. This translates well to that. Translates well into like X-Files or something like that. Totally translates well into that. Now with the X-Files thing, you know, I mean, it really is really good for the X-Files too. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. So that's the tone, that's the flav. And again, you know, okay, this is this is running. This is all 5 seasons. It only has 5 seasons. And if you haven't seen it, get someplace and go grab it or go find it somewhere online. Start watching the show. This was before its time. Normally a show that's before its time and, you know, people don't get it or whatever, doesn't, you know, it doesn't get its love until afterwards. It's the same thing that happened with Firefly and all the rest of that stuff. It doesn't get its love until after the fact. Well, Fringe gets its love. Go over to IMDb, look at Fringe. I think it's got an 8 point something. Run that kind of campaign in SCP. So at least look at it for inspiration. Look at the X-Files for inspiration to play this game. Because that's the vibe that you would be coming from. What's some other ones? You guys know any other television shows that would can give you some inspiration of playing it? Those are the ones that actually came to mind right away for me. You know, so if you like that kind of stuff, SCP is the game. This is the vibe of SCP. It's fun. I like the way they laid this out too. Even, I mean, listen, it doesn't have to be color. For me, it doesn't really have to be. They did a really good job, I think, from the way that this looks, the way that they laid it out, and the format, and all the rest of this. They did a good job. I really like the way this looks. And so I really want to get more into this. Now, in the back here, they've got some stuff as far as anomalies and stuff like that, which is mostly for the director. So, again, don't spoil it for yourself, you know, like some people like to do. You know, make it about the story. If you want to do all that stuff, then why don't you just go ahead and start getting into your character. Say you guys decide, yo, we're going to run an SCP, we're going to do an SCP campaign, right? And maybe you'll just run it for a couple of months, maybe 4 or 5 months or whatever, right? Be like, okay. So you make your characters and whatever, and obviously there's some background to this character, right? So you hook up with your director, and you'd be like, "Yo, you know what can you work out? You know, our log. If we play what happened before the campaign with your character, okay? That's what's really cool, because if you play, and you're assuming you're gonna play their solo system that they have for the SCP solo system. If you play it solo beforehand, before your whole group gets together, or before you form the organization or join it or whatever, once you actually get together as a group, trust me, you playing that character, you're going to already be warm, baby. And you won't have to come in cold trying to get into and discover your character. It's already been done. Right? And you might, if you're a director, maybe your director will give you some gear or something, or, if you do that, or maybe they'll give you like an extra experience point here or there, or something else extra for you going through that. And it's just going to be fun for you anyway. That's what I'm saying. Combining solo play with group play, which you can do, right? Stories that happen beforehand, story that happens in between sessions, all these things. I mean, maybe sometimes you're like, man, I really want to play this, but it's not your day to play, right? So you go to your SCP solo, play a little bit of solo, and even if you don't get anything extra from the director, you just want more insight on how you're going to play this character. So maybe this is a off-camera special story that happened, right? Then you can kind of bring that history into your group play. And it's not something that you have to make up on the fly. It's something that you actually experience. It's just going to be much easier to role play that character after having done that. So that's just, I think, a really great way to Isn't Warehouse 13? Warehouse 13. Maybe the librarians. Librarians? Warehouse 13. I could say Warehouse 13. Also librarians. That would be another one that it would be if you want to run it kind of more lighthearted. Because SCP is a little bit darker, which is why I chose Fringe and X-Files. Because SCP. But you can run kind of a lighter campaign, right? Not have any of these organizations, these groups of interest, and you just say something like you guys are librarians. And you run a campaign like that. Warehouse 13 is another one. That would work too. Keep it a little bit more light. Actually is a really good one. I'm surprised I didn't think of that. That's another one too. Yeah, Tom says, like, if you play solo, right? And let's say you run into an anomaly as you're playing solo, right? And then you get together with your group. And you guys have, and you obviously you let your director know, yeah, here's my notes, man. This is what I did off camera, just to let you know. I was just doing some, because it just adds depth to your sessions. It's going to add a whole lot of depth. And that player is just going to, you're just going to just fall into that character flawlessly. You've already, if you spent hours already playing a character, then when you guys play in a group, it's going to be nothing. Or here's another way to do it. Let's say you do in the solo system or GM-less system or whatever that you're doing for SCP. And one or two of you get together and maybe you guys have a little escapade on the side. And then you get together with the rest of the group because maybe it's like 4 of you or 5 of you or whatever. 5 is kind of okay, this is how you're going to be able to handle this because they played this separate thing. So if you play solo or if you play GM-less with one other person or 2 other people or whatever, it doesn't have to take the place of group play. It could just be an extension of it or maybe even a continuation of it. It's just a way to expand that universe that you're playing in for that campaign. And it makes it more rich in terms of its depth. Just similar to the librarians would be one way to run a Serpent's Hand campaign. Sure, I'd say that. There's Serpent's Hand here, since I got it on this page here. We can go over and check it out. Says, like the Church of the Second High Thoughts, the Serpent's Hand is one of the SCP setting's few definitively benevolent factions. While the Church of the Second High Thought accomplishes this with endless moral fortitude in the face of cosmic horror, the Serpent's Hand instead looks past those horrors to see the multiverse's infinite wonder. Yeah, that would fall more in line with librarian stuff. Yep. Indeed, their appreciation of the universe's wonders motivates them to protect them, but it also makes them open-minded and uniquely capable of recognizing when an anomaly is not a threat. Yeah, that would you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, they definitely would fall into kind of like a Serpent's Hand campaign, a librarian type campaign. Yeah. So yeah, man, this is a great game. You can go over it. You can buy it over on Amazon. Buy the solo system when you're over there too. Now I don't have it yet, but I'm going to ask for it. Yeah, I'm going to ask for it. May as well, right? And there are some anomalies in the handbook, but you want to know what you can do? Go over to the wiki. That makes it a little bit easier, right? Just go over to the wiki. Go over there and experiment over on the wiki site to just take a look at some things. Get you some ideas. Maybe this is something that you ran into beforehand with your character or characters or whatever. You could really, the depth that you could do this with. And it's cool that they have their own solo system. It's just, and if you get into this type of stuff, because this is kind of sci-fi meets horror. It's kind of cross-genre. But you can, you know, some people would say that it falls, you know, it's kind of similar to Call of Cthulhu. Similar, but it's not the same. It's not the same. That you have all these different groups of interest and that you can kind of just, you know, you don't have to be part of the SCP Foundation, right? You can do your own thing. I even like, just as I was talking about it, I even like that, like the civilian group over here who just happens to get together and then, you know, they're going to start doing this. I like that. Hold up a second. My camera, there we go. That's probably been there the whole time, but oh well. Maybe. Yeah, more like Delta Green would probably fall more than that. There's another one too. There's another game, Conspiracy X. I have it, and I think it's Conspiracy X is the name of it. It's more like that. There's another one that just came out too. Now, I have it, I just haven't had a chance to look at it, but it sounds like it's the same type of thing. It's called the Triangle Agency. Like I said, it's probably a year now. So SCP, Triangle Agency, Delta Green, Call of Cthulhu, those are similar but different, right? And I like SCP. Now, I liked what the Triangle Agency and what it sounded like, and they sound very similar. Conspiracy X, I'm not sure of, even though I have it, I just haven't looked at it, but that's another one. That's an older game. But it's the same kind of vibe, kind of investigative organization type deal, if I remember correctly. So those are other games that are similar to SCP, but SCP has lore that is rich beyond, I mean, it's out of this world because of the whole wiki thing. I mean, just stuff that you could just go over there and just pick and choose. And here's the thing, though. So for those people who like to, you know, try to look in the back and look at this certain things, because I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to do that, you can. Okay, well, you can just jump right over that if you're a director and just choose everything straight from the wiki. And then what? They still would be in the dark. They still wouldn't know, right? So there you go. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, so let me see. A unique and interesting dice mechanic. Yeah, you know, in my mind, and then Tom is the one that actually got me hip on how to do this correctly, right? So I was thinking, I was like, oh, so you get a dice pool like down in perception. I'm thinking, oh, so you get a dice pool of 3 6-sided, 2 8s, and 2 10s. Oh, that's dope, dude. And you get to choose the highest 2. And he was like, oh, no, that's not how you do it. You and I was like, you don't? He's like, oh, no, it's just 4 dice. Oh, you know, the max you can have is 4 dice. And then after he explained it, I was like, oh, see, and that's why I have him as my right-hand man. Let me go ahead and straighten this out a little bit. There we go. See, that's why Tom has been at my side. He's been at my side, and we go back and forth and add your skill, and then the highest result explodes. Up to a die 12 is the highest that you could do it. That's really it. That's the dice mechanic. Right there. You know, choose a target number, get that target number, and then see what you get. Right? And if you might roll something, you know. So if you're creating a character and you create it in advanced mode, do you want to go low side but more dice, or do you want to upgrade a little bit and make the proportions, right? But I like the mechanic. I think the mechanic is simple. I don't think it gets in the way of the story. If you just, you know, if you just want to go and be like, yo, let's just do this. I think it's very cool. I think it is very cool. I like it. And I'd like to do something with this, you know, test or something. And it's got some other stuff, you know, once you start getting into anomalies and, you know, cosmic horrors and all the rest of this stuff. And it's some Lovecraftian type of stuff. But, you know, you got like back here, you got your weapons and guns and all the rest. You know, for your characters, you choose your weapons, choose your uniforms, all of this stuff, blades and melee. So it's all towards the back of the book. So you got free character sheets. So you can go and you can download the character sheets for free. And if you get it, there are two. There's one for print and one for VTT. Get the VTT because that's the one that works in a PDF. And make a couple characters, man. If you get the game, obviously you're going to need the game in order to do it. Make a couple characters and make a couple characters in one of those three ways, or one of those two ways, actually. You know, make one fast and then make one advanced. And if you really want to play through it and you can't get any other people to play with you, get the solo system, right? Get that solo system and start playing solo. And I think this, what is this? I think right now it is on sale over on Amazon right now. A little bit. It's got a little bit of a discount on it right now over on Amazon. So if you want to go over there. And again, there's a couple different places you can go, but Amazon also has the 24 piece that have these cards that you can play with it. Now, I'm not real sure how that plays into the game, but the game is simple enough to where I probably would consider that. Now, I'm kind of a guy that don't like to use a whole bunch of cards with my RPGs unless it's something that actually adds to the story of the session. And then at that point, then more power to it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's do that. The main book for the digital copy is free. And you can go and download that over on what Tom said, because remember, I'm doing Amazon now. And I don't want them to kick me off because I said another, I'm just being safe here. But yes, if you just want the digital version of this, Amazon doesn't sell the digital version. You can get the digital version over on, I think I could go over to Amazon and get it. Go grab it over there. Grab the, and now I don't know if, and let me look at this, because I don't know about the solo system. I don't know if this is a physical one or not. Huh. And it says, instead of saying secure, it's solo, contain, and protect. That's how they put it. Yeah, you know what it is. It's kind of cool. Anyway, but yeah, if you like how this looks and you want to do it, check it out, man. Go over and get the free PDF. And if you think that, you might be running a campaign like this with some other, get the book. Book is that sometimes having a PDF is good. Sometimes having a book is good. And it's just a better experience when you have the actual book and you're looking through the book. 26 Letter Publishing, they came out with it and they did a good job. And I think they have this, and I have a hardcover version, but they do have a softcover version as well, I believe. But yeah, man, so if you like this kind of stuff, then I would highly suggest grab this game, grab the solo system as well. And man, yeah, you guys have hung in there with me, haven't you? Shoot, we've been on this for a minute now. It's what, 2.5 hours? Shorts and stuff like that. We'll see. Not sure, but we'll see. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say goodbye to my people over on Amazon right now. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, check it out, man. This is a good game. And once a month, I stream over here on Amazon, and I multi-stream to YouTube at the same time. And we go through and we showcase a particular game. Next month, I don't have a vote for that yet. And I don't think I'm going to have a vote for that because I might do something different next month. Decide to showcase a game. Trust me, I'm going to showcase everything that I have for that game. And it's going to be chosen by the Leet Squad if I decide to go ahead and have a vote for it. So if you want to get in on the next game that you want me to cover here on the channel, you have to join the Leet Squad right here at the bottom of the screen. You see that tinyurl.com Leet Squad sign up. Take that, put it in your browser, and that is how you're going to sign up for the Leet Squad. And then you'll get our bi-monthly newsletter, and you get a chance to vote. If I decide you're gonna get connected with a whole bunch of cool people, and you know, you get enter into free giveaways every once in a while because I give away stuff. And it's just a good time being part of the Leet Squad. And there's some other stuff that you're going to get too that's coming down the pike. Trying to build a little something here, y'all. But thank you, Amazon folks over there. Appreciate it. And I pray that you enjoyed this showcase. So until next time, Amazon, all my peeps over there, see ya. Peace 5000. All my people over here on YouTube, if you guys want to just hang out for a second or you got any questions, let's do it. Let's do it. What you got? Let me look at your chat here. Yes, the PDF is free. PDF is free. You can go over to RPG, download it for free, and check out the game, man. Check it out. I've got the PDF. I've got this one. They're pretty much the same, even though this is like a beta copy of it. So yeah, grab it, man. And I think this is this is potentially a really fun game, right? It's, you know, it's not, gosh, just thinking about it just gives me anxiety. Just yikes. Oh man, we've got so much to cover, y'all. I mean, as far as other games to cover. See, what I was thinking about doing, since we're not on Amazon anymore. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. So you guys know that there was some stuff that I still needed to do, and I wanted to keep my word, and I wanted to do it. So that is what I was thinking about doing for the live stream. It's just covering the rest of that stuff. And there's like, shoot, at least 1, 2, possibly 3 different products, maybe even more. I have to look that I haven't done anything on. One, I know there's at least, no, there's 3. There's 3 different products. So I was thinking about doing that. And so that's why I was thinking about, okay, if I do that, I probably still could do an Amazon live stream on top of that. I mean, but that would officially be my last one. Unless, of course, things have changed over there, right? And if things changed over there, then I don't have a problem with them because, hey, listen, y'all know what's up. You know, they make some good stuff. Let's keep it 100 on that. Can we agree with that? They come out with some bangers, right? Like 2 of the ones that I'm going to cover. Oh my gosh, they're complete bangers, dude. For the Cypher system. I mean, just bangers, man. Really good. So, I want to keep my word, and I really would, you know, it's sad that, you know, that video game fans. I mean, I didn't get ratioed or anything like that, but there was a lot of people who was not happy with that video. And I didn't even say anything mean in that video. I didn't get it. Huh. I don't get it. You know, but this is the times in which we live, because if I say anything negative about something that you like, and I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm just talking about, you know, people, all of a sudden they just lose their minds, right? They can't handle it. And I didn't even say anything negative. I actually said something positive. That, you know, I'm not going to get silly, y'all. I'm going to be like, well, because of that, I'm just not going to play anything by Mighty Cook Games or whatever. Nah, I ain't that. No, we ain't doing that, right? I'll still play the games. I'm just not going to promote them on my channel. That's all I said. I think they put out some of the best stuff out there, and I'm not lying. There you go. But nah, we're not going to. But I do need to keep my word. That means more to me than, forget them. They ain't got nothing to do with that. This has to do with me and who I am and who I represent. All right. So let's keep it going if you guys want to keep it going, or if you guys want to end it or whatever, or you got any questions or anything else that you guys want to talk about, you can. Just hit me up. I'm looking at the chat, so hit me up in the chat here. What is that thing next to you guys' names? So you got a crown Is this the... What's the crown next to you guys' name? Anybody know what that is? Again, I'm still new to this whole streaming thing, but you see this crown next to you, all you guys' names, and then you got a number that's next to it. Is that like the number of people who actually came into the comments or onto the stream, or what does that mean? I wonder. And then some of them are purple. Really? That's interesting. I think that's the leaderboard. Okay, in terms of who has made the most comments. Gotcha. All right. Okay, I think it's right. So Tom, being my right-hand man, is number one. So there he is. It's my boy. Tom, is it? And I thought I just heard thunder. Was that thunder I just heard? I thought I just heard thunder outside because it is supposed to thunderstorm today. And I hope not, because I got this leak in my basement and it leaks every time. And I have to fix it, and I haven't had a chance to fix it because it's been too wet and all the rest of this stuff. It's just all this stuff that's going on right now. It's just like, dude. But I think I just heard some thunder out there. I hope it's not raining. I can't hear it raining, but I'm in my basement, so I can't hear it raining that way. The reason why I just did that is because right here behind my chair is where it usually leaks. So I was just looking to see if I got some water coming in or something like that. Oh boy, the joys of owning your own home, right? I love that God has blessed me with this and everything. But yeah, so I've got quite a few games, y'all, that we still have yet to cover, right? Quite a few. Nope, there's no thunder. We got Otherscape, which is the cyberpunk one from the guys who made City of Mist, Son of Oak. We got Twilight 2000. I haven't done a video for that. We've got the upcoming Marvel. We did do Marvel. I think that was our first one. But they've got the Spider-Man expansion, and they've got the Avengers expansions, which will be coming out in September. So that's coming up. So we're going to be covering those two expansions in the base game again. But I got some other products and supplements that are new stuff that's coming with it. So I got some of that stuff that's still brand new, that's still in the box, and I'm just going to let it sit there until we decide to do that live stream. What's some other stuff that I've got? I've got Into the Odd. I've got Death in Space. These are all Free League games. What else do I have? We Can Be Heroes, another superhero game. Man, trying to think. Man, I got so many games. I'm trying to break them down. Absolute Power, that's another superhero game. Let me see. What's a game you thought you would love, but it didn't just click with you for whatever reason? A game I thought I would love, but it turned out to be meh. I don't know. I'm assuming this is past, present, and future. A game that I thought I would love, but it was meh. I don't know. I'm pretty good at judging a book by its cover. Maybe that's why I'm not taken by surprise by that stuff. For example, I've been taken by surprise by a game. Like I've been like, okay, well, let me try this out because I don't know what this is going to be like. And I was like, what? And Vaesen falls into that category. That game, I adore that game. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. That's why it moved into the top 3, baby. Man, talking about it makes me want to play it, but I'm not gonna have the time today. But anyway, yeah, man. I don't think I have one. I don't. Not yet. I don't, and maybe it's because I don't really get, maybe it was one recently that I got from Atlas Games. And the name of it is, it's over there. What is the name of that game? Over the Edge. That one. I started reading it because I thought, man, this is going to be kind of more of my alley type of stuff, Then I started reading it. And I was like, yeah, it's got to go. So much so, I no longer have that game. And I just did an unboxing on that. And I thought it was going to just be right up my alley. So I guess there is one. That was the only one that I could think of. But that one. Because I was looking at it and stuff, and I was like, oh, man, this would be like, and then I was like, oh, man. I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to do this. Oh, let me see. It keeps tabs of the top contributor. Yeah. What game you thought? Okay. I'm really interested in Free League stuff after getting started on reading in the Blade Runner. Blade Runner is dope. Just saying. Coming up, by the way. I don't think we did Outgunned, though. Did we do? No, I don't think we did Outgunned. So that's another one. I don't even think we made characters for Outgunned. I'm talking to Tom, by the way. Everyday Heroes, that's what it was. Yeah, we did that one. I don't like that one. Just not a fan. I might end up giving that away to Leet Squad in a giveaway, be honest. Brand spanking new, too. I am not, it's in the way of the story. Not a fan. Blade Runner good. I'm always careful about movie-based games. Is Blade Runner good? Blade Runner is dope. When it comes to movie-based games, if Free League is making it, don't worry. Hey, I got everything Free League has done. Just about. I'm not lying. They have sent me all. We started running, me, Tom, and Sean, which is the guy I was telling you about, worked for a billionaire. We recorded it too. I just haven't had a chance to edit and upload it for you guys. But it was me, Tom, and Sean. Sean was running it. We did Blade Runner. It was dope. I had a great time. I'm waiting to get back into that. It was just cool. And it's one of those games that I already did. Didn't I do a live stream on this already? I did a lot. I like the mechanic. It is not a straight year zero engine mechanic where it's just D6s. That's not the system for Blade Runner. But it is a cool system. I like it. Kind of, sort of similar to, the dice don't explode or anything like that, but you do use different levels of dice for your character attributes and all the rest of that. Hey, if you haven't already, go ahead, check out the live stream that I did for Blade Runner. Check that out and see if that's something that might interest you. But me personally, I like it. And I didn't like this 2074, 49 or whatever. I didn't even make it through that movie. I made it through the first Blade Runner though, and it was meh. I thought the special effects were great for its time. Oh my gosh, it was good. But, it was meh for me, But I watched it, right? But actually playing the game, oh, that's different. I much more enjoy playing the game than the movies. Have all the Alien RPG. The essence of the mood of the games that they make from movies. For example, this isn't it was a movie, but it was a Netflix movie, right? The one that they just came out with, The Electric State, right? The game is better than the movie. There you go. But I would say that about Blade Runner too. as soon as I can get the time to get that edit, the type of game that Blade Runner is, and even how you make your character and all the rest of that stuff. Actually, I should do a whole playlist of Blade Runner stuff, because I actually have enough stuff to where you could just go, like, I created a character and all the rest of that stuff, and you could see how I created a character and how that works. I'll have to put that in a separate playlist. I haven't done that yet. But, you know, you could do a search for Blade Runner on my channel, and you can look at a couple of the videos if you want to after we get done here. But that is one that I'm really looking forward to. I really am looking forward to Blade Runner. It's more of a adult themed, and when I say I mean theme. I'm not talking. People say adult, and then they think that adults handle, and it's dope. I like my RPGs. You know, y'all know I'm RPG elite. I like to have depth in my games. And it's not that I don't mind, you know, the, you know, kind of lighthearted stuff, you know, for a session here or there. I think that's cool too. That's fine. But normally I like to have some depth and some meat. Most RPG elites do. We like to have a little some meat. You know, these are stories. Stories. We're living a story. You know, our lives are stories. So, you know, let's buy all of the World of Darkness games in their reboot in the early 2000s, but stopped when the second edition came out. It wasn't nearly as good. Okay. A Blade Runner story arc could just go wildly, mind-bendingly paranoid. You know, there is, I forgot the guy's name, but he has a channel, Me, Myself, and Die, right? Usually does solo stuff. He ran a 3-player Blade Runner a couple months ago. So if you want to see a playthrough of that, you can go ahead and you can check him out too. I looked at it for a little bit. It wasn't too bad. He didn't have some bad players. So check that out if you want to just get. Now, one of the things to know about Blade Runner is that it encourages you to split up, and it's not for a whole lot of people. 2, 3 at the most. 3 is like the max that they suggest for it. Right? So this is a great game to play GM-less. You take the mythic system, you know, and you and another player run it. Yeah, they've got some, it's a good game. But I'm interested, I'm not going to lie. This game right here, I think I might be interested in somebody running it and having a little bit of, because I like this type of investigative type stuff like that, because I like Warehouse 13, I like the Librarians, I love Fringe, and I love the X-Files, as you guys saw. So I like that kind of stuff. So this probably will be, and probably a long one. And we've got some stuff that's coming. If you read the recent newsletter, you know what I'm talking about. It's coming down the pike here very soon. So most of my longer stuff, now when I say longer stuff, I mean stuff that's longer than 20 minutes. That is where that stuff is going to go, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to give it away here yet. But the longer stuff, the hour stuff, the next one for Vassen and Akello Balandemu, yeah, that's going there. That's coming. All that stuff is coming. But I still have to actually finish the Gamma World one, 3rd edition. I still have to finish that one. So I don't know when we'll finish that one. But eventually it's going to be a 3-parter. It's a 3-parter. So we already did the first 2 parts. You can go ahead and watch those. But the 3rd part is going to be special. The only freely game I found disappointing was Coriolis. Did you now? I have Coriolis. You thought that was disappointing? Not because it was bad, I just thought I'd enjoy it more than I did. The group might have been the issue, though. RPG Elite Quality number 5! Group makes all the difference, y'all. Right? I mean, listen. I did not like Blade Runner, but because of the group that I ran it with, I love the game. The group, I can't tell you how important RPG Leet quality number 5 is. That's why I put it in the top 3 of the 10 qualities. It's like super important. Servant, remind me, what's RPG Leet quality number 5? RPG Leet quality number 5 is RPG Leets don't play with any and everyone. Remember, I just made a video about that vetting process? Yeah, that's why. That the people that we're going to sit down with, we're going to have some fun with, right? And again, yeah, some sessions might be more fun than others, right? But we don't have to really be concerned about, you know, drama or not working with people, right? And that's another thing too, which is probably be another video. I should probably do more live streams, but kind of stream of consciousness off of the top of the mind type stuff. I like it when my players like do stuff. I love that stuff. I don't get that much, but I encourage it because it really tells me they're invested. They're invested in the story. They're invested in the game. They're invested in a good time. And they're looking forward to it. So I like that. It's been 3 hours going to tap out. I'm getting ready to tap out. It actually has been 3 hours. This is the longest live stream I've ever done. So I got plenty of content on this one. So I might chop this up, y'all, and do like, anyway, I'm wanting to run a cyberpunk-like game solo. Have any suggestions? Otherscape. Maybe cyberpunk, but I can't suggest cyberpunk because I've never played it. I have seen Otherscape, and I have Otherscape, and I would suggest Otherscape. But that's if you're into story, really into story type stuff. Otherscape is kind of based on the City of Mist system, and so that's very story centric. And if you're into that, I would suggest that. And Otherscape is, now off the top of my head, another game I have it in mind. I just cannot think right now. I have so many games, so you have to excuse me. Man, I can't think right now. There's another game that I had in mind, but I can't think. But for solo, I suggest Otherscape. That's for cyberpunk. No. I knew it. I just thought of it. Is it Cities Without Numbers? That's the cyberpunk one. Kevin Crawford. Go grab that one. Good stuff. Stuff is a little pricey, but he normally comes out with a free version of it. So look for Cities Without Number. He has all of these without number type games. So Worlds Without Number is his fantasy stuff. Stars Without Number is his sci-fi stuff, and Cities Without Number is his cyberpunk stuff. So go and check and see if they've got. Like I said, he normally has a free version of it someplace. So go see if you can get that one. But that's his cyberpunk. Those are the two. So Cities Without Number or Otherscape. All right. Well, it's 3 hours, yeah, and Rad is right. This has been a minute, so I'm gonna get out of here. And thank you for joining me and for sticking and hanging in there, y'all. You guys are good. My gosh, you guys are awesome. But any questions or anything, hit me up in the comments, or any thoughts or whatever, or anything else that you want to ask me specifically, hit me up on my email. servantshiloh@rpgelite.us. It's your boy Servant. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to do my snaggle puss and say peace. 5,000 Leets. I'm gone.